Hey, what's up? What's going on, guys? I hope you guys are doing amazing. So this is part two to our four-part series on how to trade options using supply and demand. So if you didn't see the first part, go to the link above somewhere up here. The first part is on pre-market analysis and how to find the stock that we want to trade. This part is on the charting and how to chart our supply and demand zones to help us find entries and exits on our chosen stock. So after doing my pre-market this morning, a stock that was having high volume, the leading stock for the day, as you can see right here, was Apple. So we had Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, and Baba, and so on. But Apple was leading, so that's what I decided to trade today. So the first thing that I do is I look for a trend. So I jump onto either the 4-hour or the 1-hour time frame and look for an overall trend. And you can do this without an indicator or with an indicator. So we can see that the trend here for Apple currently is kind of a downtrend. And if you would like to use an indicator, this is the one that I like to use. If we jump to indicators, right here. So it's called Trend Lines Pro. It's by Lonesome. The Blue. So this charts your trend lines for you already. So once we turn that on, we can see it tries to find a certain trend. And we can see the trend on Apple is kind of a downtrend. But we're kind of far away from that resistance level. We can jump to the 1-hour and see if there's any trends here. And we can see that we have sort of this support level here. When it's a dotted line, that usually means it's not super strong. So keep that in mind. When it's a solid line, it's more of a stronger support. So now we have that line. That's all that it gives us. So that's what we'll work with if needed. So if Apple starts to come down to this zone, we know we have a support level there. Now is our supply and demand zones. So for this, I use this indicator here. It's by the same creator. It's called Support Resistant Channel Zones in the multi time frames. So this is how it looks when you go to the indicators tab on TradingView. And for this, it is up to your discretion how you like to use it, but what I have found success in is using the 30-minute time frame. So when we go to OK, and as you can see, it's 10:43. Today is Monday, so this is the live markets. So once we jump to our 5-minute time frame, right here, and we click this indicator, we can see it gives us some zones. So it gives us this zone, and it gives us this zone right here. We'll make this one green. And now we can hide that. So now we have zones to work with, and I like to trade on the 1-minute time frame. So as you can see, we have this supply zone. So we know what is a supply zone. A supply zone is a zone where a lot of sellers jump into the markets, and a demand zone is a place where it's good to buy, or buyers see as a better opportunity. They see the stock to be a little bit cheaper. So I always keep my supply and demand zones turned on, just say this is the trade I took today. Actually, I bought puts on Apple right here. So why did I do that? Most traders, just say you don't have this on. You see Apple running up, and just say around right here, you go for some calls. You buy some shares, you go for some calls around right here, but you don't know that there's a supply zone up here. Now what happens? You hit this wall and it starts to sell off, and now you're wondering what happened, and you think that you're just unlucky. But the truth is that you were not paying attention to this zone. Same thing, you see Apple coming down, selling off, and it falls into this demand zone, and now you're wondering why your puts are not making profit, and you feel unlucky. But it's because you weren't paying attention to this zone. Supply and demand is the best indicator through all equities, not just stocks, but stocks, it can be crypto, you can be trading options, whatever it is. Knowing where your supply zone is and your demand zone is very, very important. And if we look at other stocks today, we can see, let's jump to maybe our 5 minute. We can see, this is on Macy's. This is what I was looking for, but we can see coming into this demand zone what happens, and what happens when we come into the supply zone. Same thing right here, and then we come to the demand zone, it becomes a bounce for us. And once we break below, so as you can see, Macy's now broke below here. This can now become our new demand zone, and this becomes our supply zone, and it'll struggle to break above this level now. This right here will be more of a resistance now, and it would be smarter to maybe grab some puts around here. We can see Meta, we can see Microsoft, and no indicator in the world is perfect, right? So we can see Meta ran up, it hit this supply zone, sold off, and then the second time it came here, it broke through it. Now it's at this supply zone here, and as you can see, it's consolidating because sellers are jumping in. There's a lot of buyers. Sellers are saying, no, we're not going to let you go through this zone, and they're battling here. So these are the only places that you should be making trades. You should only be looking for trades at supply zones, and at demand zones. Those are the only places that you should be looking for trades. So I will leave the video here. So that's how to find our supply and demand zones, and the next video will be on how to enter and exit those trades, and then the final video will be on the psychology and selecting the correct contracts. And I might actually take a trade on Microsoft right now. Peace.